Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of the EKN OutLap. It is our preview podcast that we use for an upcoming EKN Trackside live event. It is episode 45, September the 27th. All three of the EKN staffers on this one here, myself, Rob Howden, alongside David Cole and Nate Dean, as it's a all-hands-on-deck weekend. The first time we'll actually be all together at an event, and it's going to be the Karts North America Grand Nationals 6, the biggest four-cycle sprint race in the country. Sixth edition of this big race. We'll jump in and talk about it in a second. Before we do, let's introduce our presenting sponsor for this edition of the OutLap, Skip Barber Racing Schools. Are you looking for the next step in racing? Go from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Racing School. Skip Barber alumni are champions in every motorsport series, including Formula One, NASCAR, IMSA, and IndyCar. Get behind the wheel of a Skip Barber Formula 4 car featuring a 160 horsepower turbocharged engine. Our highly structured and competitive Skip Barber Formula Race Series is the perfect platform to start your racing career, so you can fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. With equalized race cars and a focus on driver development, your driving skills will determine if you end up in victory lane. Learn more about the Skip Barber Racing School at skipbarber.com or call 866-932-1949. All right, David. All right, Nate. Let's jump into this thing here now. Karts North America Grand National 6. Again, I had a couple of conflicts. I get to come back at it again after missing a couple. David, you've done the last three in a row. Nate, you've been there before as well. Newcastle Motorsports Park, the largest Briggs & Stratton only event in North America and the world. Should be absolutely fantastic. David, your thoughts heading into this big race?
Oh, back behind the wheel. That's the number one thing. Let's start with that, getting back behind the wheel. It's been a long year. I have not sat in a kart that long. So exciting to be back behind the wheel. It's been a long 365 days, essentially. Just, busy with the site. Obviously we're now into our regular schedule. December we were at the racetrack and it's just kind of gone by so quickly.
It has.
And everything away from the track as well too. So just excited to be back behind the wheel, but excited about making history again. You have to be there to understand, as we've talked about this event so many times, and it's just going to be a phenomenal one.
I always talk about the fact when I was at that first one I was at in 2019 was that I had this feeling that it was the same feeling I had when I was at the first couple 1, 2, 3 Super Nationals in Las Vegas. That we were part of something special. We were part of something that was going to explode. Obviously, the Super Nationals now into its 25th year this year. It's been the biggest race in the country. But that's how I felt when I was there in 2019. Right, this race, all the four cycle people coming together. It's just such a great, amazing happening. It's evolving. It's growing. Greg and Steve are doing the best they can to kind of evolve with it and try to keep it, still affordable to a certain extent. But it's a massive event. We've got drivers coming in from all over the U.S., a lot of drivers coming in from Canada as well. Nate Dean, you've been there before. You're just wrapping up your 4th month working for ekartingnews.com. We're going to throw you right into the trackside program this weekend because we're racing. You're essentially handling the coverage this weekend.
Yeah, and what an event, right? Cup Karts with 380 entries. We'll get into that one later, but yeah, it'll be a handful, but it will keep me busy, so that will be nice.
True enough. David, we bought the website back in 2004. That one of your first biggest races with the Super Nat, so I think you probably have a bit of a feel for what Nate's thinking right now too.
Yeah, Super Nats in 2004 was my first, even Rock Island Grand Prix,
yep.
When they, had over 400 entries at that event. So I got to go there. It wasn't my first time, first full trackside event, but the Super Nationals there at the Sam Boyd Stadium and staying at the Excalibur and all that, all that
yep.
crazy, just it. Believe me, I barely remember it, but I took in every moment as possible, but it just seems so long ago. And then, Nate's going to be doing the same, he actually is going to know a lot of the racers already.
Agreed.
So I think that helps to where I just came in kind of, bone dry, not knowing, what drivers looked like without their helmets on and stuff like that. So that's going to be the good thing. But Nate, certainly, he reminds me of myself. He's hardworking, puts the nose down, gets the job done. So he's going to have great coverage all weekend long. And then we'll be able to help out here and there as weekend goes on.
Yeah, true enough. We'll still be there to do what we can. We'll be handling a lot of the social media, of course, for what our own racing is. We'll be taking over a lot of the EKN stuff with David Nye's racing as well. Let's start with the track layout. Is it the same one that I raced in 2019, right? So I actually know the racetrack.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You'll be able to know exactly what this layout will be. You've done it in 2019. Actually, this track layout was used for 4 previous events. The first 4 years of the event. Last year, they have obviously that certain unique ski jump layout that they used. So that was a little different configuration, but they're going back to what is track 43 layout in the counterclockwise direction. So essentially it's like the national track at Newcastle Motorsports Park, but without the I-70 corner and including the Monza. So that's the track layout. Again, we have a video on YouTube. You can go check it out to see what it's like in a Briggs with me piloting. You can tell me exactly what I do right and what I do wrong and enjoy that. But it's an interesting, somebody said it's a very hard layout to pass on. Well, so we'll see. I know it made for some challenging racing and a lot of big lead packs especially in 2019 and 2020. So we'll see what this does.
Nate, what are your thoughts on the track layout itself? I'm sure you know the layout it's as I recall too, there are places to pass. You have to really get momentum on somebody and then kind of jam it in there. So your thoughts on the track layout?
Yeah, I like it. I've always been a bit of a stickler for it. I think the entirety of it is great. I think it would make a bit better racing if we did use I-70. I think that would make some nice runs to the line. But I think using the Monza layout and the one they have at the second half of the track now has produced some good finishes in the past.
David, 2017, a 2 final weekend before they moved to the single race in 2018. So the layout, let's jump into the event schedule. Thursday, of course, unofficial practice. We'll be on track, kind of dialing things in with our teams, but give us a layout for Friday through Sunday.
Yeah, Thursday, the unofficial practice. So I'm not sure if the series is running it, Cup Karts North America, or if it's track run. So we'll see, get the info when we get down there Thursday. Friday, because of the amount of class sizes, they've had to kind of rework that schedule, especially with the addition of a third heat. That's something we haven't had since, I think it was 2020. 2019 and 2020 had 3 heats. And so they're bringing heat 3 back. Last year, they only had 2 heats in the main event. So it's kind of shook up the schedule a little bit. So we're only going to get 2 rounds of practice on Friday. That's going to be essentially your morning warm-up and then your final practice. And that'll decide how you go out for qualifying, what order you're going to go in. And so they'll run all the categories in qualifying, and then they'll have the first half of the heat races Friday evening, essentially. We're going to be there. Friday's going to be a long day and a busy day. So we'll get the first half of Heat 1 races. We'll come back Saturday morning with warm-up, and then we'll do the second half of the opening round of heats, and then we'll get into Heats 2 and Heat 3. All heat races are going to be 8 laps each. So essentially 24 laps, progressive heat races as well too. So qualifying sets you up for Heat 1. Where you finish in Heat 1 sets you up for Heat 2, and et cetera to Heat 3 as well. So 24 laps to decide where you're going to line up. And for those categories, junior, senior light, sportsman, senior medium, those categories are going to have last chance qualifiers. Those will be run Saturday or Sunday morning. And then we'll have our main events later that evening or that day.
Hey, I got a question. I probably should know the answer to this already, but progressive through the heat races, where you finish is where you start. But in the end, do they take your results
your
from all
points?
Those?
Yes,
points.
They'll take your points from all 3 heat races, and obviously those I think they go highest points is good. So it's the opposite of golf.
Okay.
And a lot of the other formats we're used to. So they'll give you points for the heats. And so I think it's whoever scores the most has the pole position, and then down the order as they go. So yes, you want to be good all 3 heat races. So consistent results will certainly put you in position for a good starting spot on the main event.
We are underway with episode 45 of EKN OutLap. We are previewing this coming weekend's Cup Karts North America Grand National 6. This show brought to you by the Skip Barber Racing School. We get back after this first break. We'll go by the numbers. We'll let you know how we're looking in terms of all the categories, and I'll tease it. Record numbers for 2022. Don't go anywhere. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting, and we're primed and ready for the 2022 season with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. CRG Nordam is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, CRG Nordam supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 is our new chassis for tag and shifter racing, and it's been designed specifically for the U.S. market. The KT5 features 30mm construction with a 32mm front loop to increase front grip. CRG's new VEN 13 brake system is cutting-edge technology with a master cylinder that allows for pressure regulation within the system. Drivers can customize brake pressure to their own requirements to improve feel and to avoid brake lockup. The kart is finished with new KG 507, 508 bodywork that has refined aerodynamics and reduced weight. For cadet drivers, the 2022 CRG Black Mirror is already logging positive results to start the new season. This chassis will be making big waves in 2022. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know that the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. With four-cycle racing enjoying consistent growth in North America, CRG's FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. CRG Nordam has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to www.kartcrg.com, and to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrg-nordam.com. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history in motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level of track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of race day. Be sure to follow Briggs & Stratton Racing on Facebook and through @RaceBriggs on Instagram. To learn more about the 206 engine or to find the North American dealer near you, head to briggsracing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing, what powers you? Welcome back to the OutLap Preview Podcast. Rob Howden here with David Cole and Nate Dean, episode number 45. It is September the 27th, just a couple of days away, actually 2 days away from getting things fired up at Newcastle Motorsports Park for this year's Cup Karts North America Grand National 6. David, let's jump into the by the numbers here right now. 2019, 281 entries. 2020, 296. Big jump in 2021, 375. And as of yesterday at noon, 380 entries, a new record. And they, I would expect, will be walk-ups or late entries flirting with 400 entries.
Yeah, I'm actually should check up right now to see where we're at after, a day already. And again, registration's still open. They're keeping it open until tomorrow. And then they'll do at track registration on Thursday. So, we could certainly see that 400 mark by the time we hit qualifying.
Nate, what do you think about your class there that you would be running in? 71 entries in senior light.
Yeah, a lot of friends and people I know running in that one. It's, gosh,
that's amazing.
Good to see the numbers up. Glad I'm doing media this weekend. Put it there. But yeah, those are definitely going to be the two classes that I'll keep a keen eye on, and a lot of big names in that one.
I think the really cool thing, David, is that kind of the senior light, medium, heavy, and masters really is allowing drivers to do two classes, right? You're going to run maybe senior light and senior medium and senior heavy, or for the masters drivers, a lot of those guys running either senior medium or potentially senior heavy, as you are, David, doing double duties. So good to see numbers there. 71 in light, 69 in medium, 38 in senior heavy, down a couple from last year. The masters class has been kind of where it's been throughout the entire time, right? Maybe 39 up to 46. So that kind of window, 45 drivers in masters is amazing.
It is. And again, that could be a category. We see some walk-ups and get up to the 50 mark. You mentioned the double duty. That's one of the things we got from Race Select, the registration program used by Cup Karts North America. Only 53 drivers are running double duty, meaning competing in two classes. So as you said, that light to medium or medium to heavy or heavy to masters even. And we even have masters to legends as well too. A couple guys doing double duty on that as well. So those are the only categories you can double duty. Kid karts, sportsman, junior, all of those drivers, they have to run those categories alone. So you figure that's 100 or I can't do my math very good. Very well. 110 between the three categories. So 110 drivers under the age of essentially 15 and 14 there for the event. And then you throw in all the senior and old guys. It's just, you got probably well over 300 drivers going to be at Newcastle Motorsports Park, which is, again, phenomenal. You're talking about, USPKS. That's probably the only event we've seen over the 300 mark, both at GoPro and Orlando.
Yeah.
And they even have double duty drivers there as well too, running junior, drivers double duty and junior, and then drivers double duty and senior. So this might possibly be, in terms of drivers, probably the largest event of the season thus far.
One of the cool things, David, you mentioned getting some stats here from the guys at Race Select, and what I love is 250 different cities being represented, 33 different states or territories when you count north of the border into Canada as well. But, as we said, there's a lot of great Briggs racing up in Canada. Of course, the Cup Karts Canada program coming online this year with a couple of races. They were very, very successful and will be even bigger next year. Canada, Ontario, second only to Indiana, David. 33 drivers coming down from Canada. I actually expected more because a couple of the major teams aren't making the trek down, but 33 drivers from Ontario coming down to race as well.
Well, the 33 is from Canada alone. So not just Ontario. So again, but
if you count coming from Ontario.
Yeah, the bulk of the answer is certainly coming from the Ontario area, and again, so that shows, we've seen it over the years, over the last 10 years that Briggs and Stratton has been doing the 206 program. Canada has been a focal point of the growth of the program in the grassroots level. So it's no surprise to see that. We saw that pre-COVID, in 2019, the first year you were there and I were there. A lot of Canadians that came down, a lot of race teams from Canada that came down and competed at the event. So it's certainly, again, we thought it was going to be bigger numbers. There certainly was talk, especially with the Canada division going on up there with Cup Karts North America. We thought it was going to happen, but Canada has certainly a busy schedule.
It does.
I'm not sure. I don't have it on my schedule. I thought somebody was telling me there's a conflict. Maybe it's club racing that is going on, but I don't have any major regional or national events going on this weekend. So maybe it's more so the club finales or something like that going on.
Yeah. Good possibility. I know that the Oktoberfest Grand Prix is next weekend, not this weekend, but the following weekend. That may have taken a couple of people from there, but you're right. Probably a number of clubs wrapping things up still. But again, that just leaves room for more growth next year, right? For more Canadians to come down for sure. All right. Well, that wraps things up from Brian. By what?
Oh, Nate, I was gonna ask Nate what pick out a couple of the crazy stats that we got from Race Select. What are kind of your favorites?
Yeah, so I mean, we touched a little bit upon seeing the two senior categories, mainly senior light being the big classes this year. Obviously, senior light seeing a bit of growth. It's up 33% from last year. The one stat that kind of hard to wrap my mind around is, okay, over 1,000 sets of tires were going to be provided and used by Vega, which is enough. If you stack them on top of each other, will be taller than Sears Tower in Chicago.
Damn. All right. Pretty amazing.
That's a lot of rubber.
And shout out to everybody from TS Racing bringing all those tires up from Florida as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah. For the race tires, all that. And then not to mention all the practice tires that are being used. Yeah. So, and the rain tires, that are going to be hopefully sitting there all weekend long, not be used. That's going to be key.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff for sure. Again, Grand National 6, the 6th edition of the Cup Karts North America Grand National coming up this week in the event presented by Nitro Kart. Again, we'll go to a quick break here, folks. When we do come back, it's time to start going class by class. We'll hit senior medium, senior light, senior heavy, hit you the entry numbers, some former winners. We'll pick out some of the drivers that we'll be watching throughout this weekend. Powered by technology, DID racing chains have a worldwide reputation for superior quality and reliability. Meticulously engineered and manufactured in Japan, DID genuine parts are the world's #1 original parts supplier for Japanese and European motorcycle manufacturers. A rich racing tradition where results speak for themselves, DID prides itself on engineering the most technologically advanced chains on the market to help you excel on and off the track. DID's SDH pin treatment creates an extremely hard chromium carbide layer on the pin surface that houses a soft inner core to absorb extreme shock loads. DID's 219 HTZ racing chain boasts this SDH pin technology, which leads to longer chain life as well as excellent energy transmission to the wheels. Available in the gorgeous gold, the 219 HTZ is the ultimate racing kart chain. Pick up a DID chain at your local dealer today, because when winning is the only thing that matters, go with DID. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals. Welcome back to episode 45 of the OutLap here on the EKN Radio Network. My name's Rob Howden, joined by David Cole and Nate Dean as we dive into a preview of this coming weekend's Cup Karts North America Grand National 6 at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Guys, let's dive in first with senior medium. This is to me like looking at, for those of us who know four-cycle racing, it's like looking at the X30 senior class at the Super Nationals, right? It's absolutely stacked top to bottom. David, you can give us some former winners, and then we'll dive in and have a look at some of the big guns that are going to be at this race this weekend.
Well, I think the biggest former winner is the defending winner, Colin Warren, who won the opening main event back in 2017. So he's got 2 wins alone in this category. Again, this one was basically the only CIK category at the time, because again, when Cup Karts first started, it had that Gold Cup style bodywork. So you had your kind of your senior open medium. I think it was senior open heavy. Those were the 2 kind of big categories when Cup Karts first started. And so they decided to add CIK bodywork into one category, and this was it. And Colin Warren was able to win that inaugural year in 2017. You look at Gary Lawson. I mean, that guy is the emperor of Rock Island Grand Prix, winning in 2018. Jordan Pryor, the first Canadian to win this category in 2019 when he came down pre-COVID. Jacob Donald, the stud from Pennsylvania, longtime manufacturers cups, Super Karts USA, USPKS race winner, came with the Kart Republic and won in 2020. And again, Colin Warren, the defending winner coming into this year's event with 69 drivers set to battle in senior medium.
All right, Nate, we'll throw it towards you here right now. Pick out a couple of drivers you think we should be watching here this year.
I mean, it really is kind of an all-star lineup of four-cycle racing all across the country. I mean, Bowden Barnwell, who races in Padholder, did well in there. You have people who did well at Texas Sprint Racing Series, at local clubs. I mean, Brandon Lemke, Paulie Massimino, Brennan Jarsakrak, all big names that you can't discount. Adam Maxwell. Personally, and this is going to be a bit of Minnesota bias, Vince Katina, who I've seen him race this year, and he's had a big step up. Don't know if he can take the win, but I do think he'll be a dark horse and be able to be there if stuff does go down.
Yeah, David, you have it on the notes here that Skatina actually, a couple of top 15s of the last couple of years, right? So you got to expect just getting quicker and quicker.
Yeah, 13th in 2020, 14th last year. So certainly not necessarily a dark horse, a guy that was in contention. And as Nate was kind of alluding to, again, you just have to kind of be in contention, especially at this race where anything can happen on that final lap. And we saw that last year and the year before that as well. He hit on the big heavy hitters, Massimino, Jarzakrak, and Brandon Lemke making his Briggs 206 debut, I think, this weekend. I don't think he's ever raced a 206 before. So I'm going to say this is kind of like you said a sidestep, but it's still kind of a step down from Yamaha. But he is probably over the last, 15 years has probably been one of the best 100cc racer in the country. Not coming off a KA 100 senior victory at the USPKS finale at Newcastle. So that's going to be an interesting combination. But you got Jarzakrak. He's going to be again back with Coyote. Did really well last year, finished third. Massimino coming under the CRG banner recently and got recruited by Ewan Jeffrey of CRG Nordam to come race this race with CRG. So he was slated to race with Nitro Kart, but that deal fell through with the Speed Concept Racing and CRG alignment for him for his 2-cycle program.
And the reason why I said that it's kind of a side move for me, because I've always believed that 4-cycle was kind of a just another discipline, right? And when I was coming through in the 90s, all the guys that ran Yamaha, or even some guys that ran Formula A, but all the Yamaha guys also ran 4-cycle Honda at that point, was what we had in Ontario. And I've always had a great respect for 4-cycle and watching guys run it. Well, right.
Then when I say step down, I'm just talking speed. I'm just talking maximum speed. And I'm not talking down on the speed, because I mean, it allows guys like us, a guy who hasn't raced all year long, to be able to jump in the cart and go. I mean, that's the perfect, and again, affordable, fun, like all the things that myself as a 43-year-old look for. Again, I love the speed side of things, but to be able to be competitive at 43 and not be on a workout program like yourself, Rob,
agreed,
is fun.
100% agree. Let's throw a couple of names out here just because they're their own respective champions. You mentioned former winner Colin Warren, South champion. You've got James Overbeck, the North champion, and got Jonathan Treadwell, multi-time Canadian champion as well, but also the Canada champion from the Cup Karts North America program. 3 drivers easily could be in the fight for the race win. I'll throw Jed Perkins in there, right, as well. Jed from St. Petersburg, Florida. We've watched him do so well in Florida and the Cup Karts North America races down south, the South program, and a lot of big races as well. I think Perkins will be a guy that'll be at the front end of this grid as well.
Yeah, I think Treadwell was one of those drivers that was very competitive in 2019. So that's certainly a driver to watch. Overbeck is actually last year's junior champion. So this is a senior rookie season.
I like it.
We'll see how well, obviously he's doing well, made the transition great to win the North program. But again, this is a big one. Just to step up, Jake Venberg from Minnesota. So to help Nate with some of his Minnesota connections there.
Yeah.
But don't forget Jordan Bernlohr, former Rock Island Grand Prix winner.
100%. Yeah.
Let me throw out one more name just because I like saying his name, Derek Escobar. Making the trek from California, the Cal Speed guru, the guy who does it all at Cal Speed karting, And, looking forward to seeing him trackside, be able, again, we always see a lot of people while we're working, but now as a racer, we'll be able to there cheer him on and be able to talk setups and everything like that. So it'll be really cool to see Derek trackside at Newcastle.
Yeah, a couple other four-cycle guys you just can't stop. You have to talk about in a race like this when you have Sean Meyer, Scott Clayman, who else do I have up here? Chris Carroll. Like, these are guys that have been, front-running guys for a decade or more, right? So they're going to be good. Mick Gabriel's been really good all year long in everything he's driven. So watch for him to be right in there. Mark Steele is a former winner, not in this particular category, but he's won before at the Grand Nationals. Nate, anybody else here? I know there's lots to talk about in this one. Anybody else you want to shine a spotlight on?
I mean, yeah, you touched on Jake and Jordan, also from Minnesota, but I think, yeah, if Jake and Vince and Jordan, they've all worked well together up front when they've been at the track all in the same weekend. So if we can see that level of cooperation between them, we could see some Minnesota names up front.
Yeah, Jordan Pryor's back again. Driver lives very close to me in Guelph, Ontario. He's back. He's a former winner. Justin Wishart, a winner at Rock Island. David Hunter Fox, Jake Ostrom, another Rock Island winner. Man, this, like Nate said from the get-go, this is an all-star race for drivers in senior medium.
Yeah, I think Hunter Fox, one of the hurricane victims, he's going to stay back and not compete. So I saw that this morning on social media. So Hunter Fox actually pulling out of the race. So again, we'll see what happens with some of the Florida entries. Again, that's one thing that we're kind of monitoring and seeing what happens. Obviously, some people are have already started their trek there to Newcastle to get there tomorrow to set up. So we'll have to wait and see. Especially along the western coast and the Tampa Bay area, how they approach this weekend with obviously could be a devastating hurricane. Again, you just don't know. That's the crazy thing about weather. You just don't know exactly what's going to happen with that.
Agreed. 69 drivers in senior medium, bump it up to 71 in the senior light class, guys. We have quite a bit of double duty guys in here, but David, there's a bunch of drivers that are running here in the light class that maybe I don't see in medium right now, which is pretty exciting.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said there's guys that are running in light that aren't running in medium as well. I'm talking Austin Garrison, Austin Jers, just from the very top of the alphabetical order here, right?
Yeah. And again, it's maybe just because of, the changing weights. That's, everybody's trying to get so close on the weights, especially in a Briggs program with the lower horsepower. You want to be as close as possible. So going back and forth and not really sure, about, the time, because again, the timetable didn't even come out till Sunday night. So people weren't quite sure exactly how much time they would have in between sessions. Some people aren't comfortable with the hectic back and forth of, changing gears and changing weights, or, not having the ability to have two different carts. So again, it depends on, Nate, you could probably help us out with the weight. I'm not exactly sure what senior light to senior medium is, but I'm guessing it's at least 20 pounds.
Yeah. And I mean, from taking it to a driving perspective, it does make quite a bit of a difference, at least taking an example of watching some of our junior drivers progress up to the senior category, learning to drive a 4-cycle kart or any car for that matter with a heavier mass, making it more and more momentum based that we've seen in this 4-cycle racing is hard for some people to pick up. And if some don't want to run both, maybe that's a struggle they have. But I mean, going back to what Rob said, with some drivers running light instead of medium, again, the only two that I highlighted were Garrison and Jers, the two Austins. Those guys should be extremely strong running their own respective categories all season. I know we've seen Jers in Route 66 running KA. He's been really successful there, so we should see that levels of success this year.
Yeah, the other one, David, is Nick Terlecki. I think he's only running just light as well.
Yeah, he is running late. And again, maybe they'll enter the other category at track.
That's true.
That's a possibility. I think Terlecki's just going to do the one. And again, the weight, it suits, either the driver's weight or just the category they want to compete in. But yeah, Terlecki, he might actually be doing driver coaching as well too with myself. So we'll see.
Oh, I see.
It'll keep him busy.
I see what's going on here.
He'll be helping Ryan Sporowski more than me. But
A lot of drivers in the same class. We've talked about Brandon Jarsacrack, Brandon Lemke, Colin Warren, James Overbeck, Jed Perkins, Jordan Pryor, Jonathan Treadwell, all running McGabriel in this class as well, as is Paulie Massimino. We've got Gabe and Jake Sessler coming in from Washington for this one here as well. Logan Adams, though, local driver, probably has got more laps than almost anybody potentially. David, in this grid?
Well, again, yeah, he has the most knowledge being at the track, working the racetrack and knowing it, by like the back of his hand. He's a former winner. I think it was junior. I'm looking back. Yeah. 2019, he won the junior category. So a former winner, and he's another driver doing just the lightweight category.
There you go. The DeMasters coming in as well from Wisconsin. Emily and Tanner are going to run here as well. A lot of great guys. Elijah Skaggs. He won a winner back when he was in the junior days for Skaggs back in 2017. But David, one guy we haven't mentioned that it'll be running both light and medium. I'm not sure if he's running anymore, but Adam Maxwell as well from AMAX Racing.
Adam will actually be running all three categories. So he'll be running light, medium, and heavy. He's actually the defending winner in the heavy category. So certainly has that man on the mantle and holding that going into the weekend. So I would assume for him, he's probably got a heavy a cart, or maybe a medium heavy cart and then a light cart. So I would assume he's got to have two, if not maybe three different machines for him to compete in.
All right, let's move on now to the heavy category. David, just talk a little bit about the race winners we've had before. We didn't talk about the fact that Colin Warren had won both 2020 and 2021, 2 straight wins for Warren in senior light. In senior heavy, though, a good mix of drivers. Got a Canadian, you got the Emperor, and you got the Young Gun. Right?
The Young Gun. Yeah, I guess essentially.
Young.
Yeah.
Like 16 or 17, right?
Yeah. Gary's not exactly old, but
no, I called him the Emperor.
He is the Emperor. Yes, correct.
Called him the Emperor.
But yeah, I think Adam has a little bit more to get under his belt before he gets close to the Emperor status. That's
why I called him
the
Young Gun.
I know.
He's
I
the
know.
Young
I
Gun.
know. I get it. I know. It's just this one again. It's an interesting category. It's the same weight as Masters, and so it's I don't know. And we've only had it 3 years. Curtis Fox was the inaugural winner.
Yeah.
It's just going to be certainly with Lawson. I think running only heavy. It's very odd, but obviously he's got a lot of customers under the Lawson Speed Shop, so that's probably going to keep him busy and not on the racetrack for very much. So he's going to get at least this one category in, and then coming in, trying to pick up a second victory in this category. So which I think it'll be his third overall at the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals. So that's going to be the story. Who can, again, this was one of those categories. It was, if I recall correctly, it was either you pick rain tires or you pick dry tires.
Yeah.
And I think Maxwell picked the dry tires and was able to pull off the victory. And as Lawson ended up dropping down to third, hanging on with rain tires. So it was a real interesting strategy call to get Maxwell that victory. But again, he finished 6th in 2020, so he certainly has the speed both in the dry and in the wet. But there's also a number of different drivers who can win, including the North champion, Connor Lunn. He's been super quick, a lot of moving over to the Eagle cart. And then Canadian champion Logan Ferguson, not too familiar with him, but a champion in the field as well as Sean Mayer, the South champion. So all 3 divisional champions in this field in 2022.
And Dave, you look at guys who are badasses in four-wheel karting, it doesn't, whether it's at Rock Island or wherever it may be. You got Michael Dittmer. He's in the show. Riley Scott coming off the Scott family total coming off a really successful weekend at Rock Island on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, Riley Scott picked up 2 and Jeff Scott picked up 1 as well. So three rock trophies going that way. So Riley just doing the heavy category. He raced, I think, 10 different categories at Rock Island Grand Prix. So not exactly going to be a busy weekend for him just running the heavy category, but certainly he has the pace if he can get the setup right. Dittmer's going to be among the favorites, finishing in 8th last year. Looking at other ones, Jeff Shaw, he's been really good on the northern division this year. I think he picked up a couple wins before Lund actually picked up the championship, but he finished 6th last year in the heavy category. So watch for the Californian Jeff Shaw. Eric Fagan again. That guy is fast. He actually lost the Masters category due to coming in underweight, and then something happened to where he couldn't get started for the heavy main event. So maybe some redemption for Connor Lund Eric Fagan going into this year's event.
Yeah, what else you got there, Nate? Anybody else that's stand out for you?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the two big ones, Adam Maxwell and Gary Lawson. Obviously, those are two that I had going in. The one, again, that we talked about, Riley Scott, with the wave of momentum that he's on with his success at the Rock Island Grand Prix and the Quincy Grand Prix. I think he'll be one to watch.
Yeah, Matt Lyda finished second last year. He's back for more, so look for Matt to dial things into the number 19.
Do you know this guy, AJ Roderick? I'm not quite familiar with him.
Old AJ. AJ was actually, when we raced at Rock Island, remember? Not Rock Island, at Battle of the Brickyard.
Yep.
AJ was my wrench. We had things dialed in. If I hadn't crapped the bed, I think we would have been all right in that race. But we qualified second, he and I. It was good.
Yeah. So, another one. Oh, yeah, Drake Ostrom. He's coming off getting married. So this will be his first.
Really?
He just got married just after the Rock Island Grand Prix weekend. Won the King of the Rock in the Briggs 206 category there. So he's coming off getting married. So we'll see if there's a honeymoon hangover or if he's ready to go battle.
Justin Wishart, of course, one to watch. Steve McFoy, a top Canadian driver that spends a lot of time running in south of the border. And let's wrap it up and talk about David Cole in Grand Rapids, Michigan. David, is this the year? Is this the recovery year? The redemption?
No, heavy category is just for fun, really.
Oh, come on, David.
This one is just so I can get more seat time since I haven't raced all year to kind of match myself up. I'm glad this one's early in the schedule. It'll kind of be, if I'm mid-pack in this category, I will be super happy. Again, there's a lot of talented drivers.
There
Not
is.
to mention, some of the Masters drivers in the field as well too. Ryan Sporowski's doing both.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll be able to work together all weekend long he's been fast all year at the Cup Karts North division, picked up a victory in the Masters category at South Bend. So, again, if I can be mid-pack in this field, I would be tickled pink.
All right. Well, after this break, folks, we'll come back and we'll talk about a class that David expects to be better than mid-pack. We'll talk Masters after this break. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team, providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, SCUSA Super Nationals 25, and other events throughout the 2022 season. TKG has in stock Kart Republic, IAME, MG and Avinco tires, and more products for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history of the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. There is no other brand in karting more recognized across the globe than Rotax. Race Rotax is proud to provide the platform for Rotaxians to compete across the U.S. from the grassroots level all the way to the Rotax Grand Finals. The road to Portimao reaches its final stage on the October 7th to 9th weekend with the Rotax US Trophy Final event. Newcastle Motorsports Park in Newcastle, Indiana is the site of this inaugural event, bringing together competitors from the Trophy Series East and Trophy Series West, as well as Rotax racers from Canada, Mexico, and other countries from around the world, all to battle for 12 tickets to the Rotax Grand Finals. The 2022 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals will take place in Portimao, Portugal on November 19 to 26 for the 22nd edition of the Olympics of Karting. Visit racerotax.com to learn more about each Trophy Series program and the Trophy Final event. Race Rotax. Together, we ride. Welcome back to episode number 45 of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast. We're talking about the Cup Karts North America Grand National 6, which will take place at Newcastle Motorsports this coming weekend. This particular segment, we'll talk about drivers who were racing before Nate Dean was even born.
True.
All these drivers could be Nate's father. Or grandfather.
So could you, Rob.
In my case, 100%. Yeah. All right, let's go into the Masters class, David. This is it's a great category. This is the one I ran. We both actually ran in it back in 2019 when we ran together. A ton of great drivers, 45 in total right now. Give us a quick run through the former winners, then we'll have a look at this all-star lineup.
Yeah, Michael Welsh was able to win in 2017 and 2018. Nick Tucker made his debut at the event with the number 1 IKF Duffy plate to win that year in the wet. Brandon Atkins just came and destroyed us essentially in 2020 with his lightweight ass up front. And then last year, Dittmer was able to take advantage of Eric Fagan coming in underweight to score what was essentially the Triple Crown, winning the Spring Nationals, winning his division, and then winning at the Grand Nationals as well in the Masters category. So Welsh is not going to be there. Tucker actually is on the entry list. So we got Tucker and Dittmer. So 2 former winners in the field. All right.
Let's talk a bit here. I know, Nate, this is a little bit outside your wheelhouse. We've been watching these guys for 20 years, but give me some names that you may have seen or I'm kind of following in the coverage you've done on eKarting News.
I mean, yeah, with all the stuff we have been doing with Quincy and Rock Island, Michael Dittmer is one that absolutely stands out, especially with his performances the past couple of years. Same with Nick Tucker, obviously Nitro Kart sponsoring the event, so that makes sense for him to be racing, probably be up there as well. Other than that, not a lot of other names I recognize. Curtis Ruth from Arizona, who's an absolute character, and whenever the Stockholm guys went down, we'd always be hanging out with him. So hopefully he does well. But other than that, not a lot of names that I can pick up on.
Well, David, we mentioned Eric Fagan already. He's running in the heavy class and the Masters category. He'll definitely be a guy to watch. James Perkins, I believe, David, did you say that he's going to be running on a CRG this weekend? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, he's moved over to the CRG chassis for 2022. He's been racing it down in Florida and other events as well. So Perkins will be with the LSR Motorsports and Camp Chaos tent. So I'll have another driver ticket feedback and data off of, including JD Gunn, Sporowski, Joe DeBouver, along with Carlos Morez, who is another Michigander. He's finished top 15 the last 2 years. So he's been kind of one of those drivers who wasn't quite there speed wise, but worked his way up through the weekend to be in the hunt. So a lot of quick guys. We had, I think, 3 or 4 in the top 15 last year. So again, the CRG FS4 is pretty quick.
I look at your winners from CKNA competition. North champion Jeff Shaw will be one to watch. Of course, Matthew Demers, or Demers probably, he's from Quebec, Canadian champion. I think one of the guys you got to watch out for, David, I'll probably be chasing him myself in Legends, is Todd Barron, who is the South champion too.
Yeah, that guy is quick. Was the Legends winner last year. So going to be doing the double duty. I think he only competed in the Legends class last year. So double duty for him. We'll see how that plays out for him, but he was quick all last year. I think he was another driver who was, I think he won the Triple Crown in the Legends category. So certainly quick, has the ability to be up front all weekend long, and is one of those drivers to keep a stopwatch on.
I would keep an eye on Mark Steele as well, the number 34, a set of former winner. I think he ran one of the open bodywork classes. I think he won back in 19 when we were there.
Correct. Yep.
You got local drivers who know the racetrack. You got Steve Knight. You got Jeff Hill could be quick as well. Jamie Bradford, and Tom Harleman as well. Decided to kind of mid-season put his focus on the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals. He's been training hard on the track quite a bit, so we'll see if Harleman's able to improve on a 12th place finish from last year.
Yeah, there's just a lot of drivers that are coming back from last year that were in the top 15 probably, and then again those who were just outside of that, including myself, that are trying to come back for redemption. And it's just, again, another field that you could probably put 20 drivers as possible winners in this category.
Indeed. All right, let's move into the master, or the Legends class rather. 35 entries as we head into the show here. A new class last year in 2021. David had mentioned that Todd Barron scoring the win in the Legends category. Should be a pretty cool field, David. For me, it's interesting to be able to, finally run against some guys that are more my age. As I remember when I first ran Rock Island in the Briggs, I want to say I was like 43 or 44. And of course, at that point, everybody you were running with was 30, 31 to 34 kind of a thing. So this is a really cool class, I think. And I'm glad that it's shown a lot of support, because David, you and I are seeing on the national level, Masters racing isn't really getting the support I think that people would want, right? Looking really good for the Supernats in all the categories, but that's a big event. This is cool to see a bunch of guys come out here, 50 years of age and older, racing in this Legends class. I just think it's a cool category.
Well, again, this is kind of like the runoffs of Briggs 206 racing. Yeah. I mean, you got drivers from all over the country and Canada as well that are going to compete in this category. So all the way from California, all the way from Florida, all the way from Ontario, all coming to compete in this event. And again, it's not the biggest category at the divisionals. You get 9 to maybe 10 racers, but you put them all together and you get a solid field of drivers that again, half the field capable of winning this event. And you're probably on the bottom second half, but
yeah, probably.
Well, you know what? You're probably going to have a top 5 cart. I guarantee you're going to have a top 5 cart.
Oh, wow. You're just putting it all on me right now. Todd Barron's running this one. He's the South champion.
Yes.
Veteran driver Ryan Cassidy, who will be with me on the Coyote. I'll be with Ryan. So I'll be getting the information off of him, like you'll be getting the information off of everybody else under your tent, because it'll be a one-race street with David Cole, trust me. But other guys to watch for, a couple of Canadians really fast. Jamie MacArthur and Eli Yanko. These are both guys that could run up front.
Well, Yanko, when he came down in 2019 was among the quickest in Masters. MacArthur, same thing. They quick drivers in Canada. I didn't realize you had to be over 50 to be quick, but I guess that's helping you.
Well, I love it because I look back. I used to race against Jamie MacArthur in the 90s. And I think we probably raced in the same class, in the heavy class, senior heavy, back in the day. He's a great driver and did a bunch of Legends racing as well. So really cool to see Jamie on the list here.
Yeah, and then again, looking at the list, Joe DeBoover under the CRG LSR tent, he's going to be coming back. He finished 9th last year, but was up front fighting for podiums early on, so the weather changed and kind of caught him off guard. Other names to look: DJ Ortiz, a driver we've seen all across the country, coming from Texas to race in the category. He could be one to watch as well. James Insco.
Insco
from
third
Florida, finished third last year. So you got to expect a driver who finished third to be quick again this year as well too. Again, Cassidy, I think that's going to be the fun one. He's able to win at the medium category at South Bend. So he certainly is going to be quick. I think him and Barron are going to be up there, but then you throw in your Canadians, and it's just, this one's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And again, great to have that spectrum, right? After this break, we're going to come back in with the junior, the sportsman, and the kid karts, the other end of the age spectrum. But the Cup Karts program, really the Briggs 206 program on the whole, it kind of is a great place for guys that are 50 and older to race, right? The kart's not going to beat you up as much. You can have a ton of fun. It's a lot of guys that come back to the sport later on in their lives and really have a lot of fun. So, folks, final break here. We get back. As I said, we'll preview the junior, sportsman, and kid kart categories of this year's Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals.
Wins in the sport's biggest races and championships in national and regional series all over the country, they're all on Nitro Kart's growing resume. Nitro Kart continues to make its statement as the best, fastest, and winningest cadet chassis on the American market. In 2021, Nitro Kart won the 3 biggest crowns in America in the Microswift division, with Mateo, Rosu in the SCUSA Pro Tour, and both the Super Nationals and the USPKS titles with Keelan Harvick. At the Super Nats alone, 3 of the top 5 drivers on the podium got there on a Nitro Kart. The results are clear. If you want to win in cadet, get a Nitro Kart and join our team. At Nitro Kart, we're all about driver development. Nick Tucker and the Nitro Crew's racing resumes are extensive, and their passion for helping our kids learn is unparalleled. Racing is about consistent learning, and that's what we're all about here at Nitro Kart. Never wanting to quit, we've continued to extend the reach of our driver development program. In addition to expanding into the junior and senior karting categories, we've also launched Nitro Motorsports, which will field 2 cars this season in the Trans Am by Pirelli series, one being piloted by karting champion Brent Cruz. Not only can we develop your young driver, but we can also provide the platform if a move to cars is in your plan. And our second seat is available. If you're serious about your driver's career, contact us today.
You want the best, you just gotta roll with the best. Streeter Superstands. This is Jeff Wessel from StreeterSuperstands.com. You wouldn't put subpar parts on your racing cart, so why put that cherished ride of yours on anything but karting's #1 lifts and stands, Streeter Superstands. Streeter is the original and genuine manufacturer of the second-to-none Bigfoot rolling stands, stackers, uprights, and industry-leading Superlift. We also manufacture and sell the largest and always growing roster of trailer and shop accessories like tire, engine and jug racks, cabinets, spray can trays, bead breakers, and tons more to outfit any size trailer, team, and budget. Streeter Superstands has over 30 continuous years of experience. We're kart racers just like you and know that the Streeter name represents the absolute best in stands, lifts, and accessories for karting enthusiasts worldwide. Durability, affordability, unmatched quality, and customer service, that's what sets us apart from the rest. Check us out now at StreeterSuperstands.com. Roll with the best, StreeterSuperstands.com.
Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network and episode number 45 of our EKN OutLap, brought to you by the Skip Barber Racing School. We're previewing the Cup Karts North America Grand National 6 this coming weekend from Newcastle Motorsports Park. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole and Nate Dean. And guys, let's jump into the junior category here right now. 52 in the junior class, 55 in sportsman, 107 drivers in these junior categories, and of course the 15 in the kid karts. David, former winners, some pretty impressive names on that list.
It certainly is. You go back to last year's winner, James Overbeck. He's made the move up to the senior ranks. 2020 winner was Brent Cruz on the Nitro kart. He's off doing everything you can think of, Trans Am right. And midgets and sprint cars and anything on dirt. We already talked about Logan Adams winning in 2019. Alexander Cyril, who's actually raced the MX5. Was it MX5? No, Spec MX5 program. So he won in 2018. And the inaugural winner, Elijah Skaggs, winning in 2017.
Yeah, got to look at some of the guys that are obviously coming back from last year who did well. David, you've got a Spencer Conrad who finished second last year. You think about drivers finishing in the top 5. Scroll up to Addison Ianello. She was 5th last year. She's back for more. You got to figure she's going to be at the pointy end of the grid. There's a bunch of drivers coming up from the cadet class too that are moving up, like a Kay Jager and a Caleb Tarter. Those are 2 drivers, making their debut in this junior class, but they can make things happen.
Yeah, you also mentioned Henry Wheeler, finished 8th. You have Cale Zimmerman, who finished 9th. So a number, and then Garrett and Dexler from Ohio, all finishing in the top 10 last year. So a number of drivers who finished top 10 coming back. Conrad, obviously leading the way, finishing runner-up last year. And he actually finished, I believe, 2nd in the championship chase of the South program, which was won by Owen Lloyd out of Georgia. So he finished 19th last year. So trying to do better with a divisional championship on his belt already. You talk about a number of cadets moving up. Another one would be Jace Petty, who races a lot at the Newcastle facility. Nash Gerke, another driver who races at Newcastle as well. So it's going to be a good mix. A lot of drivers who have never been to this event. So a good mixture of veteran cadets moving up and drivers who have yet to be at the Grand Nationals.
All right, let's move into the sportsman category. 55 entries in total. And again, drivers always kind of moving up through sportsman into junior, right? 5 different winners, David, over the last 5 years in this category, just as junior is.
Yeah, you go back to Ayrton Grimm, who won the inaugural year along with Caden Fretwell, but Grimm won again in 2019, the year that we first went. Logan Adams is actually a 2-time winner, winning in the sportsman division in 2018. Ben Mayer winning 2020, and then last year, Keelan Harvick winning in 2021. So Harvick, Mayer, and Grimm, the last 3 winners.
Nate, what do you got here? You can look to have maybe a little spin through the drivers here. What are your thoughts on guys we need to be watching out for?
I think the ones I highlight, I got AJ Stoner, Brady Schrad. They have all had fairly strong 2022s. Yeah. Isaac Malcutt is always one you have to be watching. Obviously, August's EKN Driver of the Month, so you kind of have to give him a shout out. He had an insane month of August, and obviously he's going to be riding that wave of momentum going into this weekend, so you cannot count him out. Other than that, home field for the drivers at home, Alyssa Eddy, Colin Eddy, race at our local track. Colin has been improving quite a bit from what we've seen. He's been good in the cold conditions, so if we do see some colder weather, I think we could see Colin up there. Obviously did not qualify in 25th, not the best results in the past 2 years, but has seen significant improvement, and I think we might be on for a top 10 for him.
Couple of second generation, actually third generation drivers at one point. Brandon Siraki will be racing. Of course, his father, Jamie Siraki, owner of Franklin Motorsports and a longtime karter, as well. Hudson Jack Erlin. Hudson Erlin is his father, JW, Jonathan Erlin, karter, did a lot of racing as well. And his dad, Russ Erlin, actually was a super late model driver that I've known since I was a kid. So cool to see some second generation drivers in there. David, there's other drivers may have not had the best results last year, but you expect to step it up this year, because this is a level where it's all about growth, right? You roll in as somebody new, you get a chance to learn the racetrack a bit. You're a kid growing up. You were top 15 last year. You got a chance, because the top guys move on to the junior class. You got a chance to kind of step into the limelight.
That's it, and even drivers moving up from the kid karts up to the sportsman division. You got Case and Hendrickson finished 3rd last year in kid kart, as well as Cooper Mall finished 5th last year. So yeah, again, you got drivers that have graduated or are not returning that were up front. So it kind of opens the door for new names to step in. But Malcutt, as you talk about 3rd generation driver, he is also a 3rd generation driver as well. And I think, having the North Championship under his belt, finishing 8th in 2020 and then 4th last year. And then as Nate said, August Driver of the Month. I mean, he's going to have all the stopwatches on him throughout the weekend.
That's a really good point. Like that. I like that. All the stopwatches on him. You got 8th place finisher last year, Porter Trudell, coming back in from Wisconsin. You got your South champion from this year, Robert Arana, coming up from Texas. Sam Tutwiler as well, David. Finished in the top 15. He was 14th. Who else? Oh, Braylon Underwood as well. We've seen Braylon run quite a bit over this year. Running in Challenge of the Americas and the like. He's coming in from Arizona. A big group coming from Arizona, and Braylon could be one of those guys that brings him a race win or a podium finish.
Yeah, I finished. I think he was a kid karter last year, if I recall correctly, or maybe sportsman possibly. But yeah, he's been a name that we've seen across the season. So again, a number of different names that are possibly going to pop up throughout the weekend. Again, as we bring coverage of this category, again, drivers who have been there for 2 years in a row, now looking to again make that progression and be one of the drivers to beat as the weekend goes on.
Let's wrap things up with kid karts. 15 drivers in total to run a shorter racetrack, not the full length of the racetrack, but always fun to watch the kid kart guys get out there. It's all about having a good time, all about falling in love with the sport, and then you make that jump up into the sportsman category when you're ready to graduate. And we see these guys have a lot of skills. Former winners Brady Shad, Jacob Scheibel, Sawyer Chambers, Summer Rossiter, and Camden Clay winning last year. 15 drivers in total. David, looks like about 6 potentially were here last year.
Yeah, we have 6 that were here last year. We have 1 that was actually here the last 2 years, that Giovanni Ferrita from Illinois, finished 8th in 2020 and then 15th last year. So a driver with 3 years experience in the kid kart category coming back. But the top finisher from last year, Elam Stoner out of Columbus, Indiana, finished 6th, just ahead of what was our North Division champion this year, Braden Clossy. So Braden looking to carry that championship belt with him into the Grand Nationals to be among those in contention this year.
Parker Stewart as well, South champion, 16th last year, so does have experience at the event. It's not even so much just about the racetrack itself, but it's being part of a major event like this. Once you've done it once, it's not quite as daunting the next time you come back. So those are drivers we expect to watch, but very cool to see a total of 15 drivers in this kid kart category. Guys, let's wrap things up. Obviously, we're going to be there all weekend long, but David, final thoughts before we cap off this edition of the OutLap?
Yeah, again, this is going to be a historic event. Again, possibility of having 400 entries in 8 categories, well over 300 drivers already going to be in attendance. Just, again, a phenomenal, again, you got the runoffs going on at VIR this weekend. So it just, again, reminds me of that runoffs feel. And just everybody from all over the U.S. and even from Canada coming down. We've had some international drivers in the past, unfortunately, none this year. Maybe just too busy racing at other places throughout the year. And now with the COVID restrictions gone. So again, I think, just the bar keeps getting raised, and, Grand National 6 is just raising that bar up one notch.
All right, Nate, your final thoughts before we cap things off and head south. At least we're all south. Head south to Indianapolis.
It's going to be hectic.
Yeah.
That's all I can think. Just looking forward to it. Haven't been to a Grand Nationals before, so it'll be new for me, and it'll just be fun to see all the names and stuff that people that have come down from our track.
Do you have rain gear, Nate?
I do have rain gear.
I'm bringing it anyway. I'm packing mine, but it's not going to rain.
I was going to say, bring it just so it doesn't do it, right?
I'm packing my rain suit just so it doesn't rain. Exactly that. All right, folks, that wraps things up for this edition of the OutLap. It is going to be a fun weekend. As we said, full coverage throughout the weekend. I think there's a live TV stream, right, Dave?
Yeah, they'll have a live stream on Facebook. So the Cup Karts North America Facebook, you'll be able to tune in. I'm not sure if it's all event. I don't recall seeing that, but for sure the main events on Sunday will be on Facebook for Cup Karts North America.
Fantastic, folks. Make sure to follow all of our social media platforms as well. Both David and I will be posting to our personal social media channels. Same with the EKN channel. We'll dive in there and kind of share some of our adventure with it as well. Of course, Nate will be doing everything that David normally does with all of the top 10 results to Facebook and Twitter. Easy way to follow everything that's happening trackside. Just make sure you follow us on ekartingnews.com's accounts on both Twitter and Facebook to get the top 10s. A lot of content, of course, on Instagram as well. I'm sure that we'll also have some videos coming up as well throughout the week following from Nate. A lot of stuff going to be happening. Here's your hashtags to follow as well. That'll give you all of our coverage. Hashtag EKN at CKNA. Hashtag CKNA Grand National 6. Hashtag Race Briggs and hashtag Vega Tires. Again, big thank you to Skip Barber Racing Schools for being the presenting sponsor of this edition of the EKN OutLap. We are super excited after I think this is our 32nd event total, David, between you and I and everything we've been doing in terms of Road to Indy, all the karting stuff. I think it's the 32nd event of the year that one of us at least will be hitting. So we're getting close to the end of this one. Couple of bigger races still coming up, but this one of our favorites. David and I both pulling on the helmet for this one. We hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you enjoy the coverage. And if you're not there, tune into the coverage that will be available on the Facebook page. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. On behalf of Nate Dean and David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.